Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leisrealtalk. I'm Lei. China's overproduction and low price dumping of electric vehicles have alarmed foreign governments and their policymakers. The United States and the EU have increased tariffs on Chinese EVs. However, what worries Chinese EV industry leaders the most isn't external hostilities, but unhealthy competition in domestic market. Some of the practices are self-deprecating. What's really going on in China's EV industry? And why are Chinese EV makers worried about their future? Let me bring you the insights. Chinese EV makers are already facing reduced demand in foreign markets. Media has reported the accumulation of unsold Chinese cars at major European ports. Some have been stuck there for over 18 months. The growth rate of the European electric vehicle market has slowed. On June 7th, South Korea's SNE Research said in its report that in the first 4 months of 2024, although Europe sold 8.6% more EV cars than the year before, Europe's share in the global market dipped by 2.4%. SNE attributed the cooling of EV market in Europe to the cancellation of subsidies by major European countries, such as Germany, which has the largest EV market in Europe. In the United States, an AAA study found that the percentage of people who are unlikely to very unlikely to buy an EV increased from 51% in 2022 to 63% in 2024. And the number of people likely or very likely to buy an EV decreased from 24% to 18% in the 2 years. Higher tariffs and cooling markets in Europe and North America are two major blows to the Chinese EV industry, but they are not the decimating blows. What's deadly is an unsustainable bitter pricing war. Chinese industry leaders are so worried that they have spoken out. According to a report by Chinese media Yicai, at the 2024 China Automotive Chongqing Forum held on June 7th, Li Shufu, founder and chairman of Geely Automobile, China's largest private automaker, criticized the hostile competition in the Chinese auto industry as the worst in the world, with price wars getting worse than ever. He believes this endless hostile competition and brutal price wars have led to cutting corners, selling fake and inferior products, and a disorderly competitive environment, which is highly detrimental to the healthy development of the industry. Although the development of the EV industry is an important opportunity for China, he said it is currently facing severe difficulties. At the same forum, while addressing domestic competition among Chinese automakers, Zheng Qinghong, chairman of Guangzhou Automobile Group, said, "This type of hostile competition is not sustainable. The purpose of enterprises is to make a profit. We should focus on long-term strategies rather than short-term competition. Without profits, no enterprise can survive." Amid the pricing war, his company, Guangzhou Automobile Group, suffered a 25% decline in cumulative sales in the first 5 months compared to last year. Ironically, the automakers that have seen sales growth in the pricing war also worry about their future. On January 16th, at the Chang'an Automobile 2024 Global Partner Conference, the company's chairman, Zhu Huarong, said the industry is facing disorderly competition and has reached a point where it will cut to the bones. He said the Chinese EV industry is experiencing an uncertain and turbulent time. The Chinese EV price war has entered the close combat stage, and the king of this combat is BYD. Some Chinese media jokingly said that the only thing BYD did in 2024 was price cuts. It started cutting prices in February, and in March, BYD announced that it would cut the price of its model priced around 100,000 yuan by 20,000 yuan, with the lowest price being 79,800 yuan, which is just a little over $10,000 US dollars. That's a 20% cut. This move by BYD has forced all competitors to lower their prices. Chang'an Automobile, whose chairman I mentioned earlier, is one of China's largest state-owned automakers. It cut the price of its plug-in hybrid SUVs by nearly 30%. The price cuts have helped Chang'an boost sales. Its financial report shows that in the first quarter, the company's total sales increased by 14% year on year. The sales of EVs increased 52%. That's pretty good. However, its net profit was down by 83%. You see, despite the significant uptick in sales, particularly in EV sales, the company's net profit plummeted. Chang'an attributed the significant decline in net profit, to hostile price competition. The Chinese EV industry has entered a self-destructive predicament, which is that the more cars they sell, the more they lose. During the May Day holiday, China's auto market experienced another round of price wars, with BYD offering discounts for its high-end Dynasty series. According to Cui Dongshu, the Secretary General of the China Passenger Car Association, the scale of passenger car price reductions in the first 5 months of 2024 equals 90% of the total price reduction in 2023 and exceeded all of the price reductions in 2022. He said the cars that are caught in the price wars are pure EVs and hybrids. He said this has resulted in widespread losses for Chinese EV makers. At the Shenzhen 2024 Guangdong Hong Kong Macau Auto Show held on June 1st, Richard Yu, the executive director of Huawei, stated, in the EV sector, the king of hostile competition in the world is BYD, due to BYD's ultra-low costs. I don't know where BYD's ultra-low costs came from. Is it from ultra-high government subsidies? As the leader of China's EV industry, BYD reported a 20% profitability in 2023 and 17% in 2022. Chinese media say this profitability gave BYD the confidence to start a price war. If BYD's profitability came from government subsidies, then it's the government subsidies that's been driving this self-destructive price war. This strategy aims to boost sales to dominate the global market quickly, right? I mean, you cut price, you go very aggressively to boost sales, hopefully to dominate, to saturate the market. I mean, that has been the CCP strategy for all these years. But I'm not so sure if this strategy will work, because it didn't even work domestically. I say this price war is a deadly trap, and I'll give you the numbers. As a result of price cuts, BYD's passenger car sales reached 302,000 units in March, an increase of 148% over February, and a year-over-year increase of 46%. However, the 302,000 monthly sales did not meet BYD's monthly target for the year. BYD's annual sales target for 2024 is between 4.5 to 5 million vehicles, which translates into a monthly sales target of 375,000. BYD's average monthly sales in Q1 were less than 210,000 units. It's 44% below the 44% below the 375,000 monthly target. So to meet the target, BYD may have to introduce even greater discounts in the second half of this year. However, experts say the cost of making EVs has increased as materials have increased, or the prices of the materials have increased. So deeper and successive price cuts can be a killer move that will not only cut into the company's profitability, if there's still any left, but also reduce the effectiveness of its marketing. Because it may kill demand as people will hold off on purchases and wait for more price cuts. We've already seen this adverse effect in the Chinese market. The price cuts didn't generate more demand or didn't generate enough new demand or demand for new cars, nor substantial EV sales. Or at least it's not enough to meet the CCP's own targets. Car companies are forced to secretly list new cars for sale in the secondary or in the second-hand market to meet sales targets. Recently, an article by Tencent and NetEase, authored anonymously, quoted industry insiders as revealing that many NIO models and BYD models in second-hand car dealerships are new cars with only 100 kilometers of mileage. 100 kilometers is about 60 miles. So these cars in the second-hand dealerships only have 60 miles of mileage. So according to the report, in the second-hand car market, most of these nearly new NIO cars were registered for license plates this year. So they're recent, right? And a second-hand car dealer said, NIO sold the new cars to us in bulk to meet their sales targets. Other second-hand car dealers said they have all kinds of models in inventory and can even pre-order them for customers. And this is second-hand market. You can pre-order new cars in second-hand market. So this is the tactic Chinese EV makers use to meet their sales target or targets. They register the unsold cars in their inventory for a license plate to be considered used, and then wholesale them at low prices to second-hand dealers. This helps them meet sales targets, which is important for publicity and their financial reports, while not losing too much money economically. After all, making a smaller profit is better than not making anything at all. So selling it at a deep or steep discount is, you still get some money back, right? You need cash flow. It's better than not selling anything. And they even give it a nice name. They call it trading cooperations with secondhand dealerships. Okay, so, and in addition to NIO and BYD, other EV makers might have adopted similar tactics to meet their sales targets. However, this practice will effectively kill China's EV market over time. People won't be willing to pay new car prices for EVs anymore. They're only willing to pay used car prices only. And this is self-deprecating and is why Chinese auto industry leaders worry. Think about it. If BYD, probably the most profitable Chinese EV maker, not including Tesla, if BYD isn't meeting sales targets and has to sell its cars in secondary markets, what about the other automakers? right? The ones that have so if BYD is the one, is one of the very few that are profitable, then all the other ones that have successively lost money in past years, how are they going to survive this price war? Another direct impact is quality, which translates into safety concerns for the consumers. One Chinese insider said the cost of making, I already said, they say the cost of making EVs has gone up because materials have gone up. So cutting costs means cutting corners. Videos of Chinese branded EVs spontaneously combusting can be seen daily on Chinese social media. I have seen two videos showing brand new EVs burning in flames while being transported. En route to dealership, on trucks, on highways. And in the early morning of May 16th this year, fire erupted at a BYD dealership in, I think, Qingkou, Fuzhou, in the Fujian province. The store was completely burned down. Fuzhou Fire Department said the burning material was the EV cars, the 7 cars parked in the showroom. There were 7 of them, and they were all destroyed in the fire. This was a report. This was the official report by Xinhua News Agency. However, one day later, BYD issued a statement saying that the fire originated from the second floor office. And they're not ruling out the possibility of aged or aging wires. There's currently no reliable data on the number of fires related to EVs in China, but some Chinese call domestic EVs a crematorium on wheels. At the same time, EVs have been politicized in China. I think this may be the result of this hostile price war, because they need to find a scapegoat, or they need to target someone. There have been a few instances in which Tesla cars and their owners are subject to harassment and mistreatment. So take a look at this picture. This parked Tesla was targeted and scratched with words saying, "Does driving a Chinese car bring you shame?" Okay. And in this video, the Tesla owner was angry and exchanging words with the security guards because he was denied service at a charging station operated by China's national power grid. So it's the official government-owned charging station denying a Tesla. Some automakers, like the Chang'an Automobile, have other challenges in addition to this hostile competition. As a military enterprise, Chang'an may also face possible U.S. sanctions for aiding Russia. So that's another geopolitical risk this state-owned automaker faces. And politically, its leadership team has been subject to internal purging from the party leadership. So on April 30th, Chang'an Automobile's stock price tanked, shedding 16.2 billion yuan in one day. That's about 2.25 billion US dollars. So overall, Western governments and consumers should be alarmed by the potential safety concerns these cheap Chinese EVs present. I want to give you a full picture of what's really happening inside the Chinese EV industry, and so that you can make a more informed decisions about importing or buying imported Chinese EVs. That's all I have. for today. So I thank you for watching. I hope you like and enjoy the information. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thank you. See you next time.